Hey everybody, we're back again. We just finished installing the gantry. We made it pretty rigid. Jeff did the 2-finger lift test, which was pretty cool. And now we're gonna switch over to the head unit. So let me grab that over here. And it's this crazy looking thing. So let me bring that up to the camera. And you may not see it right off the back. You obviously, hopefully have one in front of your hands, but what's going on here, Jeff? There's a lot going on here. I don't know what's entirely like. There's a spring. There's like, I don't know, a dopper for what? Playing bingo, and then you got a fan and a little nozzle head.
Well, since we're gonna get into the head unit, I'm gonna explain all this. But real quick, if you guys are following along in the manual, the manual's next step says we're doing the power supply. We're gonna wait for that. I don't want people thinking you're missing a video.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So with the head unit, we have got a lot of pieces here. We're gonna start with the very front and move our way back. So in the front, we have this little spinner guy here.
Bring that in. Can we see that on the camera?
Maybe I should come over here and show
Go
you
ahead, yeah.
some stuff.
Jump on in the center there so they can see that better. I'm still on the camera.
See if we get it there. All right, so this guy here, that is your wheel to push your filament through and into the heat unit. Over here, we have a little spring guy. That's the tension on your feeding system. There's a full gearbox here that helps feed with metal gears the filament right down in to the heat block and the heating system, the heat block and the nozzle. Down here, this little guy you can barely see, that's your nozzle. Out of the tip of that's where the filament comes for what you're building. What he called a bingo dauber, that is your metal bed sensor. Oh, look, hey, there's Ryan.
Hi.
That's gonna tell your head when to stop so it doesn't jam into the bed.
Oh,
As we
okay.
flip this underneath, you'll see we have a fan here. That is to cool the filament coming out of the nozzle. If we continue spinning, the fan on the other side, that's to cool the gear assembly and keep this at the right temperature so it doesn't overheat and boil.
Oh, that makes sense to me. So as it's coming down, it has to somehow regulate it and balance it because you got one task doing one process of heating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other doing a cooling. It's not smart enough to like fully regulate like with one system. It has to do multiple.
It uses a PID system, which is a little bit more involved than you probably want to get into today.
You can read documentation on that.
But for the short of the theory is, as it starts to get too hot, the fan turns on and brings it down to a temperature, and then it continues just to bounce between there, right inside the range, which is right around 195 to 215, depending what filament you're using.
Celsius, not Fahrenheit, but Celsius.
Yes, Celsius.
So massively
So
hot.
400 and plus degrees.
So it will burn you, yes.
And everything is controlled by one ribbon cable with 2 little snaps.
I'll bring that on up. Yeah.
Right in there.
Okay, yeah, like a standard, if you're used to working on computers and anything like that in an older environment, you've seen something like that.
And we're gonna look at the back real quick because you got your 1, your 2, I believe your 3 screw holes.
Okay.
There are not 4 screw holes when we put this on the head. There's only 3. That's gonna throw a lot of us OCD guys off. But we got this.
Okay, so just to confirm, you have this little spring thing on here. What was that? That's to like make it so that it feeds in better, right?
That's to make sure that the filament has enough tension that the feeder gears can actually continue feeding it through. If it has too much tension, it will start to shred your filament and create problems.
How would you know about that? Would you be aware, or you just don't know until it happens?
What I suggest is you keep it set where it comes from the factory.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now,
so I don't need to loosen it up on the screw or anything like that.
Leave it the way it is. What I usually say is if you can open it up a 1/4 of an inch, I don't know if you can see down there.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
if you can see down by my thumb,
yeah.
so that moves that 1/4 inch, that's all you want. Anything more than that, you're going to be too loose. If you can't move it that much, you're too tight.
Nice. Okay. Great. So we probably should assemble it now, right?
Yep, let's grab some screws and some tools.
I'm going to stay here in the front if you don't mind. Or
You stay right there.
let me.
That way you can hand you the stuff you need. All right, so now we're gonna grab step 3. Like I said before, we're past step 2 because we're putting that on later on in the film. So there's your 3 screws.
Okay. Yeah, these are tiny. These are really tiny. It's kind of hard to find.
Flatheads. They're in the.
They're in there. Yeah, they're
step 3.
like this. They're smaller than my fingernail. It's like a 1/4 size of my fingernail.
Well, they also have a designation there, an M3 by 5.
Okay, so I'm gonna set those down because I will likely lose those right off the back. And then okay, so that's what I'm gonna need.
It is the second smallest X Allen key and your set.
So, oh, that's nice. It just kind of like slots in there
Yep.
temporarily.
And it'll hold itself for the most part if you have a friend to help you hold it or an extra finger.
Yeah,
Because
that's
sometimes
what
you
I'm
drop
gonna have.
screws. And the reason we do this is to remind you that none of us are perfect.
Yes. So I think I'll do it at dear goodness, this is terrible. Is it easier just to? Nope.
Nope.
All right.
So Ryan's having some fun here.
Yes,
We may
I am.
have to edit this.
No way. This is gonna stay live. This is to let you all know.
It's not easy.
I'm gonna do the bottom one first. That actually was the easiest to get in there. That was definitely
There we go.
easier. Then I'm gonna come over to the corner part and make sure I got some pressure with 2 fingers. That seems to help a little bit. Once I get that added, okay, yeah. So don't start with the corner one up here. There's too much stuff in the way, it looks like. And then I can mount that a lot easier. Now I can struggle with this other one and drop it another 6 times. Another option too, I don't know, will those be magnetic if I had like a little magnetizer?
Yes.
Okay, so if I had a magnetizer, that might actually have been a better choice to use so that I wouldn't have dropped it 3 times, or I think we dropped it 3.
I always worry about putting anything magnetic near a circuit board. And since this is a circuit board we're screwing in, use at your own risk.
Okay, I think that's pretty good. What do you think, Jeff? Is that
I think
is it a
that
good deal?
looks absolutely beautiful.